radio. And
Yes,
it's like
talking
my
loud.
first. Yeah, thank you very much. From the crowd, from the DJ crowd here.
Yes.
Yeah. So and greetings to everyone who is listening. Everyone who's going to download the show, keep it on their iPhone or whatever, listen on their way to work. Greetings.
Greetings, man. Damn. Breaks, I need your help.
Oh, stop it! Come on.
Wow, this is
You know. Okay. I was
Hey,
gonna
what's
say,
happening? U.S. breaks in
just
place.
just
How
as
y'all
much as
doing?
anybody knows about what it,
So, Mr. LaRue.
Yes, sir.
You know that you are a very well-respected person in the hip-hop
I
community.
certainly do, and I really appreciate it. I owe so much to the hip hop community.
Of
I'll
course.
tell you something, and came as a big surprise to me when I did that. When I did the original remix,
Okay.
you know, I didn't have a clue that any of this would happen. It was before hip hop hit the street, hit the block. You know that, right?
Right.
And when I went in with the producer, we did an actual remix
Nice.
on Face of Love from the album I had, the T-Dance.
Uh-huh.
And we actually did a multi-track remix.
Yes.
And so then we had like a little bit of time left over, and I said to my co-producer, Aram, I said, you know, there's a little piece of that. We went to Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn, the Arab people there, and we brought into the studio like a real Arab belly dancing group. I mean,
Okay.
they were the real thing, you know,
Yeah.
from the Middle East. Hey, ding, 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 with the finger things and
Finger
everything
snaps.
Yeah.
as a rhythm thing for Indiscreet. And so, and they did like a little break.
Okay.
But I heard that thing, you know, and I said to Aaron, I said, I would like to extend that. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, you see that little thing? Now that was in the era of when you used to use the 2-track master and you used to cut,
splice, and
splice
tape
it,
with the razor.
copy it,
Yeah.
with the razor,
I remember
tape
that.
it, and then splice, copy that, and slice
Like
it, and they
record
extended it that way. So it was like cut and paste, cut and paste. You know, it took a long time.
Okay.
And you had to be. It's not like today where you click a button and you go.
Yeah, it's put together.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If you've ever done it, and it could be a pain in the butt as well. So here we go, and we're doing this, and Aaron says, what are we? And so we got it all finished, and Aaron said to me, he said, you know, that's not a disco break. And I said, I don't care, you know, listen, it's the B-side of this 12-inch record, and it's what I wanted to hear, and now I'm hearing it, and so, you know, I used to get very high at the time.
Okay.
Not anymore, I'm a sober man now.
But it's all good, though.
I don't regret 1 minute. I don't regret 1 minute. You know what? And I survived it, and I'm here to talk about it. I don't advocate the use of drugs or alcohol. I'm not standing in that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't regret
But
what. You know what I do? I regret the money I spent on cocaine.
Oh.
Money spent, yeah.
I wish there was some kind of a refund, like 40 years later.
Have my
Because
money
when I
back.
think back of the bucks,
Oh,
the heavy
man.
bucks in the 70s, that I just put out for that drug.
But the parties you've been to, you must have been to the
Wonderful. Oh.
funkiest parties. Like,
Yes.
I'm in here, like,
Yes,
what?
Right, yeah.
Like,
But,
this
yeah,
is me.
It was wonderful. That's why I say I don't regret 1 minute, because I had some wonderful time. Getting back to the thing. So I took the remember acetates? I used to burn acetate, bring it home. And I smoked some weed, and I got high, had a couple of cocktails, and a couple of wines. Really, you know, because I'm garbage head. It's a wonder I survived it, but... And I'm listening to that with my headphones, I'm going, oh, that's exactly what I want to hear. Oh, shit.
Yes.
You know, so it was perfect. It was perfect. So then the record came out. It was released as a 2,000, we only had 2,000 pressed, numbered, limited edition with the picture sleeve. And it was just sent to DJs only, DJ pools only. Now, in the process, and then that was it for me. That was it for about 6-8 months.
Okay.
And then Morris Levy, who was the head of the record company, Pyramid Records, he was a big gangster, you know. He's scratching. I went up there once. He said, "I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything. You know what's happening with the record?" And I said, "No." He said, "They're playing up in Harlem, and like the Spanish Harlem and the street parties and what." And I said, "What are you talking about?"
Because of that get down part.
Yeah.
That's right. So then the promotion man, Steve Giaquisto, called me, and he says, "You got to see this." He said, "Remember Bonds? when Bonds went from they tried to be a Studio 54, and then they converted over and they got very neighborhood ghetto kind of thing.
Okay.
And they had the little tribes up and down both sides of the club as you walk to the DJ, and they had the cardboard on the floor, the corrugated paper on the floor, and all the hip hop dancers were there, all the break dancers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Bonds
Come on,
International.
Bonds International.
Yeah,
Thank you very
yeah,
much. Thank you very
yeah.
much. See that was like the first big time hip hop club in Manhattan. You know that when it switched over.
Okay.
So I'm going. He says, "God, come with me to Bonds." So I said, "Okay, fine." Because I had in there since they tried to open it like a competition in Studio 54.
Yeah.
So I'm walking through this. This is about a year and a half after it opened, and they had made the conversion to a hip hop club. I'm walking through, and I'm hearing and I'm seeing all these kids dancing, whatever, and they took me back to the DJ, and he walked up to the booth. And Steve DeCristo says to the DJ, he says, "This is DC LaRue, indiscreet." And he goes, "Oh my God." So he took. Now listen, what a moment this was! I got to tell you, it gave me a thrill. And I think about it, it's still a thrill. And so he takes 2 of my 12 inches.
Okay.
And he had blackened out the labels so that you could
So
see what the
nobody
hell
could
he
see
was
what
playing.
exactly. It was a secret.
I don't know. It was a secret.
It was a secret.
That's how it's
I don't.
competition
He
days.
told me he got the records downstairs underneath the counter. So somebody took. But they were real. They weren't bootlegs. They were real deal.
Yeah.
So somebody had taken out of my 2,000 records. Somebody had taken a couple of boxes and sold them downstairs, right?
Downstairs records.
And they were getting a lot of money for each one. They were supposed to be not for sale. They were getting a lot of money for each one of those things. So the guy, I'm back at Bonds here. So he puts on 2 records, and a kid comes out and raps live over the 2 breaks of Indiscreet.
Wow.
And I had never even heard rapping.
Before.
I didn't even know what they were doing.
You were like,
And I said, "Steve, what is this?" He said, "Rapping over the live, rapping hip hop, rapping over the hip hop." And he said, so then the next thing I knew, it was on Beats and Breaks.
Yeah,
Ultimate
Street
Breaks
Ultimate,
and
the Octopus.
yeah, octopus.
I never got 1 cent in all these years. They must have sold 3 million of those things.
yes.
And that guy's never paid me 1 cent.
I
don't
bought it 5 times.
There you go.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah, it was in vinyl, and then it came out in CD, and then they had a greatest hip hop. I have never seen 1 cent. How could that man sleep at night, right? Everybody else on the first, they're all dead except me. I'm here. I'm still alive, and I want my money.
Hell yeah, I want it now.
I don't know. And you know what? I try to friend him on Facebook. He's still around. He
You talking about Louis Flores?
Yeah,
Yes.
he wouldn't friend me on Facebook.
Oh my God.
Well, he owes me a lot. Come on. You mean he really feels comfortable about not paying me 1 cent, not
Sorry,
1
yo, I didn't mean
cent.
to blow your name up like that. But we all on the click,
Oh yeah,
We all on the
yeah.
click. Yeah.
So not 1 cent, and so, but how many figures do you think he sold over the last 40 years? It's 40 years, man.
Well, I remember that's when I first heard the record.
It's right.
Because we
40
went to
years.
downstairs. No, we went to Vincent. My man Vincent went to downstairs records.
Yeah.
And because before the Ultimate Breaks and Beats,
Okay,
it was
right.
Octopus. And he said, "Yo, I found this record. It has
Yeah.
several breaks on it because we had to buy individual albums."
Right.
You mean, wait a minute, the Super Disco breaks? Because
No.
remember, they had a whole bunch of
Yeah, they had
volumes.
Super Disco breaks, but they were very poor
Yeah.
copies. But they the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
original of compilations
They
of breaks.
were like bootleg
Right.
breaks that were taken
Right.
from the vinyl, and
Right.
they didn't do that very well.
Yeah,
then.
Right,
they didn't
right.
do
Because
that.
the Mardi Gras was scratched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
you
right.
buy
You know?
so much.
But
Yeah.
Vincent came with it was a yellow copy.
Well,
with the
listen. So
octopus.
this is like the Morse Levy, gangster, and he was hooked up with
Kurt and
Tony Vidar, Delight Records. Delight Records. So
the light,
Delight.
the light record.
gangsters, all of them.
They all gangsters.
So
Sylvia was too.
Sylvia, my darling, you know what? There's one part of me that says that woman stole so much money from everybody, and yet, without her, what would have happened? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like Morse Levy. His attitude was, I said, "How did you know that Cathedral was going to be a hit?" And he goes, didn't know it was going to be a hit. He said, "Nobody in town wanted it, and Dennis Gannon was willing to sell it to me for nothing, and you're not going to get paid."
Yo, this is crazy.
Wow.
This is an ill interview,
So,
man.
so what do you say about Morris Levy? I didn't see one royalty statement from Morris in 5 years, but you know what? He never had me go without money. And when I wanted to go, I flew first class down to Concord back and forth to Europe.
Wow.
You know, when I needed something, I'd go Morris. He'd write me a check for $10,000. Now, I never saw a statement. I never saw a wrong statement. But you know, also I didn't have to pay taxes on that either. You know?
Right.
So I guess
So it worked itself out, you know. And I'll tell you, but Morse goes back to Frankie Lemon and the Teenagers, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Birdland, he used to
And
own.
Birdland,
I used
his
to work.
brother.
I used to work
yeah.
for Warlock Records. His son Adam.
His son
Levy.
Adam, sure,
Yes,
sure.
Adam Levy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but Morris was a messenger, and he got his start from the Lower East Side.
Oh,
He says, you know, he said to me, he said, all my life I wanted to be a gangster. He said, people wanted to be cowboys, they wanted to be Indians. I used to go to gangster movies, I wanted to be a gangster. And he said, I'm living the dream. You know, it's really, you know. And he put people away. He fed them to the alligators. Dangerous man. He was a dangerous man. He grew up. He was a messenger for Birdland. His older brother had started managing it.
Okay.
And he used to run out, and Dinah Washington, everybody was there. He used to run out for XL sandwiches for Dinah Washington. You know.
Wow.
Great stories. Great
That's
stories.
crazy.
The first time I heard Indiscreet,
Yeah.
I was at a Bambaataa party.
Yeah,
but
me
I
too.
always think about
African Bad Body.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
think about the free promotional copies that were sent out to the DJs that were in record pools back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And I knew it had to be Bambaataa, Tibby Tibbs,
Yeah.
DJ Abel, Grand Wizard Theodore, and the rest
Sure.
of those cats.
Oh,
because
you
I
know,
went to a few of their
Theodore is a
parties.
friend of mine. Did you see his post on Facebook where they did the whole side of the building of his mural?
Which one?
Grand Wizard Theodore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
fabulous.
what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, no, it was, and I sent a little note. I said, "You must be thrilled, man. It's like the whole side of a building with him."
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
But I wanted to tell you,
Yeah.
when I dropped that needle on that record,
yeah,
I was like, yo, this sound dope. The record with the crookeds.
yeah.
That crooked.
That was like a little string instrument that they would.
What
That
made that? What made that?
It's a little string instrument that you play with your fingernails. Ding, 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 ding. It's a
Wow.
instrument. Yeah, like that.
Wow.
Wow. Yo, you was ahead of your time.
That stands out.
Yeah, it does. But back to Morris, you know. So I was listening to some doo-wop stuff the other day, you know. And as much as Morris was a crooked gangster, he stole everybody. He never paid anybody. But the thing was, why did he take Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers? Because the major labels weren't taking doo-wop. They didn't understand it. They didn't want to be a part of it. They didn't want to be the street, you know, Frankie Lyman, the Flamingos, all that stuff.
Right.
And so Morris would take it. And what was his? He said, "I'm a businessman. I'm not an A&R man. If I can get it for nothing, and you know you're not going to get paid, I'll put it out."
Wow.
So without Morris and his payola, Alan Freed shit, what would doo-wop have done? What would disco have done?
Yeah.
What would rap have done? You know, that man was very important in his own crooked little way, you know?
Yeah.
So then what he does was Indiscreet, back to the storyline here, he goes to the people at Delight, and he gives them the original master tape, you know, for the actual pressing, so that it's not bootlegs, and he has Delight put it on the side of another R&B record, and he starts selling that over the counter on Delight Records. Never got a payment for that one. And then Delight pressed up a clear vinyl. Have you ever seen the clear vinyl
No,
on
I've
the
never
street?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and that's the hardest thing. There's the most difficult thing on the face of it. But I did that autograph thing at the
Academy Records.
Academy Records.
Right.
A guy came in from New Jersey, right? A Latin guy, and he had two of them
Of the Delight?
of the Delight clear vinyl.
Oh, wow.
And he had me autograph both of them.
wow.
And you know, I said to him, I said, "Any way I could have one of these? Because I had the black vinyl, but I didn't have the clear." He said, "Oh no." And I said, "Where did you find them?" He said he bought a whole bunch of stuff from a warehouse in Chicago.
Oh man.
You know, he bought like a stuff, you know, that put it in storage, and then the guy
Somebody
didn't pay
could
for
get
storage, and they not. And so he bought the whole bunch of records, and he went through it, and he had 5 of them, and he only had 2 left, and he wouldn't give me one. I said, "Yeah, but I'm the guy." He said, "No." He said, "You want to autograph it for me? Autograph it, but I'm not going to give you one." So I haven't been able to find one since. I have not. But so that's the real rare one. You know, talk about rare records.
Yeah.
The clear vinyl, Indiscreet on Delight.
Is it
Wow.
on
So
Tell
that's
me
the
about
same
it.
label as Kool and the Gang, Delight.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Delight?
Yeah. Yes. So that's it. So then, but then, I got informed about a year and a half after the fact that Indiscreet was very successful.
But you,
But I got to tell you something. You know, all this, and what I say about the hip hop community. There was a time in the 80s and the 90s where nobody gave any gave a fuck what I said or what I did. You know, I was just beyond belief. Disco, get him out of here. We're burning the records. I didn't make any contribution to music. I really felt abused, you know, and I really felt I had done all I can. The hip hop community never stopped playing Indiscreet. Never stopped giving me my props. And I'll never forget that, because with the disco people, they were out of here, you know, and you know, and people who would answer my phone and take me out to dinner I couldn't get past their secretary. But you know what? The hip hop people, whenever I showed up, they just treated me like the best. And you know what? I'll always remember that. And now that I'm having like a interest in my stuff. Listen, I tell you something. I really appreciate it. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget
You're
it.
part of this whole makeup, because when these kids DJ, it's part of their whole playlist. You have to have Indiscreet with Mardi Gras, with Just Begun, with Apache. You have to play those records. If you don't play none of those records, especially your records, he's whacking like, yo, you should have played Indiscreet. I remember going to those jams at Walton High School. I remember them DJing with the 2 records. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then when it comes to the sound system and the breakdances, New York City Breakers used to be there. It was crazy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even in the house music. In the house music line
Chicago. The thing is, well, that's where this guy got the Chicago, this warehouse where he got the clear vinyl Indiscreets. You know, I'll tell you, it's been a journey, and I'll tell you, I've had my ups and downs, but Indiscreet has been. Well, I started the conversation before we went out there. I finally got the original multi-tracks back for all of my albums. You know, they were lost. They were lost, and nobody knew who owned them, and nobody could find them. But it's taken me 35 years to track them down. They were like in obscure vaults. You know, one was in England, one was in here in New York City, all dust and everything. So I got them all back. I got permission to make digital copies from the original multi-tracks.
Nice.
Good. This is after 40 years. And with the disco stuff, we're giving it to young kid disco remixers. And as soon as I got them, I called up Johnny Juice Rosado, and I said, "What do you think? You want to remix a Indiscreet for me?" I said, "Oh yeah,
oh man, bring out a few mixes on that."
and Face of Love. And so he's got both of the tracks. He's sitting with them now in his studio, and I called him. There's no big rush because I'm arranging for the rest of the remixes and they're all coming out together. I want to do a special. A pyramid disco, like the thing that you had, the 45 that we invented. I want to get a special pyramid disco vinyl release first of all of them, of Johnny's remix of Cathedrals on one side, no, not Cathedrals, like Indiscreet on one side, Face of Love on the other.
Nice.
So, and I said, do whatever you want. You can remove anything, you can add anything. If you hear rapping on it, do it rapping. I said, you know, it'd be great if you get somebody from Public Enemy to do like a little rap or something. Nice. So he's going to be trying to do that, because Public Enemy knows it, you know, knows the track.
Yeah, of course.
You know. So he's working on it now. And I said, you got plenty of time. Because it's going to be another month or two before I get the whole package together. You know, I want to have vinyl. I want to have a CD. I want to have, you know, like limited edition stuff. Because it's the last thing I do before I die. To be honest, you know, I'm not looking to make any new records.
Yeah. I hear you.
I'm not, because I don't know how to. We were discussing before we went on the air. You know, I don't know how to make those records the kids are making today. Yeah. You know, I don't love every one of them, but I know how difficult they are to make. Yeah. And I don't know how to. I wouldn't know how to make one of those Justin Bieber things or one of those Rihanna things that she did with Eminem. Yeah. I love that record, but I wouldn't know how to do that kind of stuff.
But that Indiscreet song, you can play it from the beginning to the end. And the break is a bonus, but the whole album is record.
Well, thank you very much, but I think so, yeah. But I don't have any designs on making any new records. I figure I've said it all, and I'm very happy with my body of work. But you know, this remix project could be very important because I would like to bring everything up to date to show that my contribution to music has a sustaining power. If you just go in and remix it a little bit,
right. It can still be
not more than a little bit, but you know what I'm saying. So that's it.
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping it goes well. I know that John. First of all, I love the man. He's been so sweet with me, and so I did his radio show. When he had that radio show over here.
Okay.
And he's been a big fan, and I know how much he loves the record. I just know it. You know, he thinks the world of Indiscreet. So I'm It's in your hands, buddy. You know?
Have you ever thought about making a memoir or a book or something?
No, I haven't.
You should think about that. A book or something. So
everybody says, everybody says, but you know what? I don't have an inspiration to do that, but I do have my radio show on weekly radio show, Disco Juice.
Yeah, I seen it. I seen it.
And you go, and you go on SoundCloud, key in DC LaRue Disco Juice. You can download. It's the archive. Download all the tracks. If you listen to my shows, I talk about stuff like this.
Okay.
So after I kick the button, if you want to, if you want to know anything about my life, go there.
Okay.
Because I say a lot of real stuff on this show, like this conversation tonight, real deal stuff. And if rather than write the book, I'll just you can hear me live.
It would be a good conversation piece, you understand where I'm coming from, you know.
But my thing right now is to do this remix project, and that's gonna be a die happy man, you know.
I hear you. That's what's up.
It really is.
Rule. Time Machine Radio.
Yeah,
that's what's up, brother. You played a real intricate part in this whole.
No, I know it. It wasn't intentional, my friend. It was just a total accident.
Yeah, you see, things happen.
As hip hop was, as the whole thing was. Thank you.
All right. All right. DC LaRue here on Time Machine Radio, y'all. I hope y'all take heed.